As Galvin's face breaks the surface of the water, he's hauled up onto the boat by the rest of you. The Dragonborn pulls himself up and looks down at his companion. Galvin, you were in a weird spot. You were half conscious. You see and feel what's going on around you, but you don't hear anything. Instead, what you hear is the sound of a male and a female voice speaking in a language you don't understand. The one thing that comes through your head though is the impending doom that is coming across in their voices. As the conversation starts to get heated, a loud roar is coming from the background to the foreground, and it just overwhelms all of your senses. A bright light flashes across your vision, and for a few moments, you're blind. You see nothing more. You feel your companions trying to tend to you as best they can and shake you out of this stupor. To the rest of you, seeing this, his eyes are rolled to the back of his head, and he is repeating the conversation that he's hearing. You don't understand the tongue that he's using, and are at a loss on how he's speaking it. At the very end of it, he screams one word that does come through very, very clear, and that's Avacna. He screams the word Avacna across the bay.
Insight check. Does Haru realize that he's speaking some foreign tongue, or does he just assume that this is Galvin speaking in a language that he's familiar with, like that's a local flair?
I'm not sure if that's an insight check.
Well, could be straight intelligence.
So much as just a straight wisdom.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I mean, it works out the same for you, doesn't it? Okay. Yeah. Roll it for me.
Mm-hmm. 11.
11. Yeah, you're unsure if this is just an arcane tongue rolling out of his mouth and some kind of a fit, or if this is an actual language that he's shouting.
All right. I think because of Galvin's state, Herzak lost the enlarge spell effect on him. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did, but I don't think you can concentrate it on a minute. It's less than a minute, but I think that you can't concentrate on it anymore. Right. Because you're pretty much under at this point. Did I do that? You did
that he would have been carrying on onto you is now dispelled.
Yeah. But I can't cast that underwater. Unless that was above.
Didn't you cast that on him beforehand?
No, I used light on the ring.
Right.
I thought you did it though.
No, I don't remember doing it.
I thought you passed me the ring and cast enlarge. Either way.
No, he cast light on the ring. That's what it was. He's correct.
Yeah. Either way, it's gone.
Yes.
I'm going to do the best I can to treat the poison barbs, like the poison sting in his leg. So that'd be a medicine check, right?
Yes. Give me a medicine check. Beacon, do you want to assist or?
Yes, I would like to assist.
Okay, so roll that at advantage.
Good. Same thing. Total of 8.
Total of 8.
Yep.
All right.
Maybe he should assist me. So.
It does have a point.
Yeah. I rolled twice and got the same result.
Okay. So any attempt that you're going to help your companion doesn't seem to be having much of an effect. He's stiffened up as if he's having a seizure. Still whispering in this tongue over and over, and at the end of it, every time he screams Avacna.
Okay.
In the process of trying to help him, though, you see the marks where the tentacle wrapped around his legs, and they are gashed like teeth got them, and the blood is oozing out black.
It's pretty serious wound then. And no unprepared neutralized poison. All right.
Beacon, how seeing Haru fumbling around trying to dress the wound, how would you like to react?
Basically smack him and tell him not to poison himself in the process. It won't do anyone good having both of you out. Then I'll go ahead and cast Cure Wounds. It may not help the poison, but it'll at least keep him going until we can properly treat it.
Okay. Go ahead and cast that, and Galvin, you're gonna receive half of the healing that he's about to give you.
Can I look to see if there's any barbs or teeth stuck in any of the wounds? Is there something?
Give me a perception check.
Okay. I rolled a nat 20.
All right, so yeah, you easily see in one of the gashes as Beacon is attempting to heal, it kind of gets pushed out from some of the meat in Galvin's legs as it's knitting itself together. You find this large tooth-like thing that has a kind of a gelatin-like sac around the base of it. It has the same blackish liquid that is oozing out of Galvin's leg. You easily pull this out.
I'm gonna say, look, I think it's like a stinger or a tooth, and I'm gonna try to carefully pull it out without hurting myself.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to be able to grab it and extract it pretty easily. It's large enough that you can kind of grab it with a couple of fingers and pull it out without touching the little sack around it.
Okay. That's what I would like to do.
Okay.
Well, I'm unconscious, so I'm going to take care of the dogs.
All right.
And I rolled a 10 for the Cure Wound, so he gets 5 health back.
Mm-hmm. He'll gain 5. And he's still stiffened up like this and repeating the same words. Beacon, you see this stinger tooth claw thing, and you've never seen anything like this either, but this really concerns the three of you, as you're not sure what type of poison is coursing through your companion's veins at this moment.
Full health.
And in the meantime, Galvin, give me a Constitution save.
Okay. 2.
Okay, so that's a big old fail. You're gonna lose 6 hit points.
Sam, you have to add your Constitution modifier to that.
Okay. 5.
Doesn't change it. You're supposed to add that.
You know, I was gonna say it failed, but that extra.
Yeah. No, it's still a fail, but
Yeah, you're gonna lose 6 hit points as it's coursing up your legs into your torso. The three of you will notice, even with the healing from the cleric, that his condition is getting worse. How would you like to proceed?
well, now that I see that the poison barbs stuck in him, I'm going to focus my attention on trying to remove those from him.
Okay.
Did I not pull the one I found out?
Yeah, you pulled it out, but
Yeah.
He's trying to see if he can find any more.
Oh, okay.
So, will that be perception or?
Yeah, perception check.
I want to find and remove them.
Okay.
20, natural 20, so you should be able to point them out.
If that's sustained, maybe. All right. Yo, total of 4.
Yeah, you're clumsily fumbling around with your dragon claws through open wound, trying to dig through the meat. I'm sorry.
May I look for more?
Yes. We can spend, say, the next 10 minutes trying to see if you can locate and extract any more. Each of you give me a perception check at advantage. Let me know if there's any fails.
All right. So that's a total of 16.
I got a total of 18.
Okay, those are both successes. Beacon?
20, a net 20, and then plus whatever.
Okay, excellent.
24.
Cool. So over the course of the next 10, 15 minutes, you guys are kind of running your fingertips around the edges and in the meat of the wounds, and you're able to pull out an additional 12 more of these stingers. Those seem to be everything that was in him. Several of them that you've noticed were kind of in like a circular pattern, like if a suction cup latched onto you and these things drilled into you, into the leg itself.
Mm-hmm. So wherever we find one, we look in a circular pattern around it to find one.
Yeah. And with all those successes, you don't have to have another Constitution save, guys. You're good for now. But you were all very certain that you've extracted all of these. I'm guessing you were collecting them in somewhere?
Yeah.
Throwing them overboard?
No, I think we're holding on to them.
Okay. So with that, he seems to be calming down a little bit. He's still muttering to himself. It's kind of tapered off into just a low mumble to himself. The yelling has stopped. The tenseness of his body has eased up slightly, but he's still sweating profusely, still very out of it.
Can I use my cure wounds on him?
Yes.
Okay. 1 second. 10 would be the what I healed him for, I believe.
Okay. Galvin, you're going to regain 5 hit points. Learn how to type. All right, so the magics will tend to the wounds themselves. The meat kneads itself back together. The skin starts to regrow around each one, leaving dark black scars. But what remains is the blackness in his veins as it's working its way up.
Has it gotten into his heart and lungs yet?
You would have to get him undressed to notice that.
Yeah, I'll take his shirt off.
Okay.
What if we rinse the wounds out with
seawater?
Water. Yeah, seawater.
I mean, they got a pretty good rinsing as he was like
being drug up, yeah.
Yanking him up out of the water. You're not sure what else you can do from inside of a small boat, Laura.
Yeah, maybe we should get back to land and see if anyone knows what type of poison this is.
Potentially. We won't. First priority is to get Galvin back to safety.
Mm-hmm.
Haru is going to tighten the belt on his pants, glance down at the ring affixed to his finger, and just step off the boat and dive back into the water. Sploosh.
Okay. Sploosh. Into the water you go.
And I'm going to swim down to the shelf.
Okay.
Kind of keep a 40-foot distance from it, though, at first. Just to look around for the creature, and then if it's not there, I'll approach cautiously and try to find any of Galvin's leftover tools.
Okay.
And avoid touching the stone if possible.
Okay. Galvin, what were you... remind me, what were you using?
The only things I used last game was light.
No, not his spells. He's talking about your tools.
I had a chisel and a hammer.
Okay. And seeing how Galvin at the time was over the ledge of the drop-off of the shelf,
I see.
When those tentacles got him, I don't imagine they would have fallen anywhere but down into the pit.
Right. The abyss. So
yes.
Haru just kind of spends a few minutes fruitlessly looking down there before approaching to the surface.
Yeah, you see some schools of fish that are swimming around the surface, and you see a couple of these strange creatures you guys have seen roaming the shores that seem to feed on crab and other sea life. They look like a lemur with fish-like qualities. You know, they have tentacles instead of arms, and they have a fin that comes off from the base of their neck going to their tail, which itself is kind of like a vertical fin itself that propels them to the water.
Those aren't like the squid goblins we saw, right?
No. These seem to be just really weird-looking creatures that act like a normal beast. They haven't really been a threat to anybody.
Okay. They're just bizarre. And
yeah, just very bizarre. Like a few of the things that you've seen on this island so far. Just completely out of the ordinary.
So, not finding anything. Her just gonna.
Nope, just the
surface of the water.
The anchor from the boat buried into the sand with the rope leading back up to the boat.
Okay. I guess Haru will just release the anchor and start swimming back up to the surface and get up to the boat.
Release the anchor.
Yep.
Okay. So Haru breaks the water again, catching a little bit of his breath, shaking some of his frills off. What do you want to do from here?
We want to return to shore.
Yeah, can we start like rowing towards the shore?
I was thinking you guys would be rowing while I was down under the water.
Well, we're not mind readers here.
Got an injured man in the boat.
All right, well, I guess I'm rowing.
All right.
I'll assist with the rowing.
And when Haru breaks the surface, he'll put the anchor in the boat, not on top of Galvin or the stingers. And then he'll get behind the boat and push it from behind swimming.
Okay. And it doesn't take long for you guys to get back to shore. The bow of the boat crunches into the sand. Who wants to pick up Galvin and move him? And how are you doing this?
So what Haru is going to do is slide one arm under his knees and one arm under the base of his arms, and just kind of heft carry him, like kind of cradled.
Okay. And first thing you notice as you pick him up is his body is not loosening at all. Like how it takes some effort to kind of shape his body where you can carry it easier.
Well, if he's straight like a board, I could just
almost
that anyway.
So he's like becoming petrified?
No. It's like he's grabbed onto an electrical current.
Oh, okay.
His muscles are locked in place.
Yep.
All right.
And Galvin, you feel all of this. You can almost see all of this just on the side of your peripheral, but you still can't hear anything. You feel your party get back to land, and you know that you're being carried, but you don't know where you are or what exactly is happening.
And I'm going to take him to the medicine tent, doctor's office, surgeon's abode, whatever.
Yeah, within the fort walls itself, there are three people that could probably help you. Devin, who's an alchemist, Amon, who is a priest of the Dawnflower, and Heather Ledoux, who spoke with you earlier about the stone. She's kind of a naturalist and might know something.
I'm going to turn to my two companions. I'm going to take Galvin to the alchemist. One of you go find Heather, and one of you pick up the poison barbs. You might need them. And then Haru's going to take Galvin to the alchemist.
Okay. Yeah, you sprint across the sand. You reach the fort walls fairly quickly. The guards let you right in. You find your way to Devin Albus's little quarters. who is really shocked at what's happening here. And as you clear off a table and lay your companion on top of it, he immediately takes off the shirt and his pants and starts to inspect and asks. It looks up at you, eyes glaring over his glasses, asking, "What caused this?"
Haru will begin to describe the monstrous entity down below the water. That's part crustacean and part squid.
Can I pull out one of the barbs or whatever to show?
Okay.
Yeah.
Say you carried the barbs in my shirt that you took off.
Yeah.
That's
we'll give him a collection of barbs then.
Yeah.
Okay. He, the young human pushes his glasses up to the top of his nose and inspects the barb and walks over to his workstation and immediately starts trying to carefully cut open the sack and collects some of the liquid and does a bunch of really fast motions, like that you're not really sure what he's doing, but mixtures are going in this vial and that vial, and a really foul stench has filled the air. He turns and says, I think I can help him, but it's going to take some time.
It seems like he has some time.
In the main, you probably would do well to carry him to the priests who, for better or worse, could see him through this side or the other.
Well, if Beacon is here, Haru just kind of looks around, see if Beacon followed here to the alchemist tent or if he's gone to find Heather.
I believe he went to go get Heather.
Yes, that's the druid went with you with the poison sacks. I went to find Heather.
I'm going to ask, is there anything that you need us to collect? Any kind of special herbs or anything?
Devin quickly scans his shelves. I believe I'm really well stocked for now. I just should tend to my work here. I will let you know if I make any breakthroughs. And as he's speaking, he is fumbling over all these liquids and mixing this and mixing that and bringing out some powders, and kind of muttering to himself.
Very well. Yes, her is going to pick up Galvin and carry him to the temple.
Okay. Within a few minutes, you're over there and inside. Amon and Curvis, who you recognize from the quasi-funeral for Ashcroft as the priest of the Lady of Graves, they quickly ask you to bring him to a small antechamber off to the side of the chapel, where a cot rests, and they bring in a water bowl and a few other things as they start to try to tend to some of the wounds. And Amon begins kind of a sort of prayer. You're not anybody that would care to can give me a religion check.
You put that in the chat for the side here.
I would have to get into this.
Yeah, you'd have to get into this.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what that's supposed to mean.
I'll just
Sam.
I'm certain I know what language I was speaking, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
So I'll just post this to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, Sam was he went to Google Translate.
Oh, I got you. It's not a bad guess, but not quite accurate. But it's okay. These are the words that you're mumbling to yourself. Well, mumbling as you lay in this cot. Did anybody roll a religion check, or do you just assume that he's doing his priestly thing? And
oh, that's not Harus's wheelhouse.
Yeah, I assumed he was doing godly things.
Okay. There's not much progress in the coming days. And it's about a week later, damn near a 10-day later, that as the morning sun peeks over the Eastern Ocean, the ocean to your east, who all has stayed here in the chapel?
Chapel.
Beacon has.
Yeah.
Okay, Beacon, you will see Galvin stumbling, kind of weakly walking out of the chamber and into the chapel towards you. This is the first time that you've been able to really take in your surroundings, and you have no idea when, Galvin. What is your first reaction upon seeing Beacon and the chapel?
First thing, ice?
Yes.
No. Let me think about this for a second. I'm going to just, I guess, stare at him and say, how long was I under?
Oh, this is good news. You're a sight for sore eyes. It's been about a 10-day. You've been out for quite a while. You've had us worried.
I had the craziest dream.
Oh, yeah? Do tell.
Well, after you guys took me out of the boat, I said, I can't feel my legs. I kind of like went into some kind of in-between place, and there were people arguing over me.
Interesting.
And I tried, keeping in mind what they were saying, but I don't know what it means.
What were they saying?
Can I repeat
Any of it?
any of it?
The words, they just seem right out of your reach. You remember as slumber took you, you remember seeing the face of a beautiful human female with glowing purple eyes, and she was talking as if to you. You were looking through the eyes of someone else. And she's continuing to speak to you, and as she continues, you look over the horizon as the sky darkens, and the roar overtakes everything. And right before everything went black, you cried out her name, Avacna.
Beacon. I think her name was Avacna. But I don't know what the rest of it they were saying.
I had us muted for the first little bit of that.
Yeah.
So Galvin is just going to tell Beacon the name of Avacna.
Yeah, what I heard.
For sure.
I think her name was Avacna, but I can't recall what any of the other words were.
Very interesting.
Or what calamity overtook them.
Right. Do you remember anything else other than her name?
Can I make a roll?
Yes. Give me
A wisdom?
Probably intelligence.
Intelligence?
Yeah, give me an intelligence check as you're trying to like reach back into your mind to pull any detail forward.
Okay. 15.
Okay. You knew that there was an emotion of hopelessness and dread over these two people. You reach further back, and you understood for a minute what she had said, that despite their best efforts, the prison might be shattered.
One thing. There's another. I was able to pick 3 languages, and the last one. Primordial. Was that it?
No, this is an ancient tongue. It's not anything extraplanar.
Okay. That was a good shot, at least.
No, I mean,
Okay.
some of the similarities between this tongue and those would make it good guesses, because I mean, some of those inflections are in this language as if this was almost itself a primordial language, like one of the first tongues of the world.
This will teach you, wizards, to learn and comprehend languages.
Yeah.
There's still time.
I have to find another book.
Or make a request for a spell scroll of comprehend languages.
Yeah.
So you can copy it over.
Anyway, yeah. I'm going to go, I guess, to eat something.
Yeah, I'll assist him to walk wherever.
I'm guessing that I'm starting to feel like very hungry right now.
Oh yeah, you were weak with hunger.
You've been on hospital food for 10 days.
Or speeding.
Yeah, and a good half the day is spent getting you back to the residence and fed and cleaned and feeling human again. And all this is done and you rejoin your companions who are in the common room of the house. Does anybody come up with what you want to call this place? I'll just keep calling it the residence or your home for right now.
The clubhouse.
Excellent.
Yeah, we won't let Laurelyn name the clubhouse.
Yes, I forgot.
Just call it the refuge for now. Better than the clubhouse.
Fine. Refuge. Although it doesn't make as much sense. No, this is our personal.
The headquarters.
Well, see, we don't have a name for our own group yet either.
Not really.
I think we'd.
We're the staunchy adventurers.
Mm-mm.
I mean, pretty much the colonists have just identified you as the Leaguers right now, along with a couple of more freebooters that now reside amongst you.
League of Extraordinary Adventurers?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, Carter House, Heather Ledoux.
So I'm going to
Freebooter.
sit down at the desk, my desk that I have in the lounge area.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say, what's the next order of business?
Well, it seems we're not quite prepared to handle foes underwater. I've given this about a week of thought. If we want to go back there and kill this thing, just because it's there, I'd like to get some nets to hold it down and some either tridents or spears from the squid goblinoid creatures, so we can stab it to death while it's restrained.
I can always entangle it.
If it's close to a surface.
And it might be.
Well,
If you could entangle it underwater. Galvin found out that his spellcasting could not be performed underwater.
Well, I would think that I wouldn't have to be underwater, like maybe touching the water and calling forth like the seaweed and various sea plants to grow. I would think that it would work. I've never tried it.
Well, before we hinge the entire plan on it, I'd say try casting something while underwater and see what happens.
yeah. The problem I found is that I can't say anything underwater.
What do I say?
Well, what if you're just in the water but not fully submerged? Could you still cast something?
I have to be above water. My mouth has to be. Unless I get something later that lets me say stuff underwater.
Also, that ledge down there where we encountered this thing is 120 feet deep.
Mm.
We're not
I
just
have an out of character question, real quick. Sorry. So, I'm not really sure how spoken magic actually works, like what the interaction is. But if we had a really long snorkel, could he speak through the snorkel and it work?
That is awesome.
It would not work because if you had a really long snorkel, they've tried this sort of thing before, and you can't get enough pressure in it for you to actually breathe through the snorkel. Like the water pressure down there is greater than you can exert with your chest to pull air down that whole distance. That's why, that's why when they had diving bells and stuff, they had an air hose with air being pumped down with sufficient pressure to displace the water for you. And mechanically speaking, vocal components for spells require you to speak in a clear, loud voice. And if you have your lips peeled back, holding a snorkel to your like in your mouth, it's going to be difficult to properly enunciate the arcane words or divine words.
No one can ever whisper a spell.
Well, you could whisper a spell, but
Because I tell you right now, Laurelyn isn't screaming at the plants to do her bidding.
You're not screaming. You have to say Avara Kedavra or whatever to spell.
yeah, the words of power have to be articulated. He's right. With a snorkel in your mouth would be very hard to do, but with maybe like a sort of magical air bubble surrounding your head, maybe that would work. Or nothing like in your mouth.
maybe we can find someone to give us an air bubble.
I think we have to either rely on magical means, perhaps reproduce this ring, at least so we can be down there.
Do we really want to go back to that thing?
Not right now. We should go back later.
I think it's low priority. What we've discovered is there's no evidence of a cave that any of the colonists could have gone to. What I think we should report, well, what Haru has reported his opinion on the matter before to the current leader of the colony, Ramosa, is his opinion is we have some strange occurrences, some phantoms on this island, and they likely created the footprints without involving the current colonists at all.
So we should probably solve the ghost problem first?
Yeah, that's Haru's current opinion on the matter. Unless people start going missing with footprints going to the water, then that will remain.
All right, maybe set something up to improve, I guess, awareness, so that if something comes onto the beach or leaves the beach, we have some way of knowing.
Don't have law.
What spells did you pick?
Useful ones that
All right, you picked useful ones, excluding alarm and comprehend languages, which are both useful level 1 spells.
Let's see. I got a sheet right here.
Yeah, he picked a lot of level 1 spells.
Man, he'd be a list of how many level 1 spells I could have.
You just threw them all together.
Yep.
Yeah, there's not a limit to how many spells you can have in your spell book, I don't believe, unless I totally read that wrong.
Almost all the combat ones.
But you've got Burning Hands, Detect Magic, Earth Tremor, Featherfall, Identify, and Sleep. You've got Enlarge and Reduce, Shatter, Control Flame, Dancing Light, and Firebolt.
Apparently hitting laughter as well.
It looks like you've also put Burning Hands, Earth Tremor, and Sleep into your second spell slot.
What?
On your sheet here, anyway.
Oh. You didn't.
Or maybe that's just, you can cast that at second level?
Yes, you can. You can upcast.
Okay, I got you.
To get more dice rolling.
Accidentally.
No, you didn't do that. D&D Beyond does that for you. It says,
so like Burning Hands would give you an extra D6. I see what they did now. Okay.
Yeah. And it only let me put so many cantrips in.
Mm-hmm.
You can't manually put them in?
I didn't find a way to.
I'll look into that. Okay.
Enough out of character stuff. So we're having a meeting in the main room of our clubhouse / refuge. We can either investigate the ghost, we can go back to the cave, or we can do some odd jobs around town. I'm sure there's always things that need doing.
Let's go back to the cave.
All right.
Which would probably be a little surprising coming from Laurelin.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is a little bit surprising.
Rather not go underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haru gives you a nod of respect.
We gotta go find him. Is that correct?
Well, Laurelin smiles at her, kind of looking a little more confident.
Just took some time getting used to the idea of going underground and nothing awful happening. All right. Yeah. Was Pit Baylor the person we have to talk to about the ghost?
No, that's underground, I thought.
Yeah, it's Amon and Curvis were the two priests that are in the chapel. They oversee that whole temple where the ghost seems to be centered around. They themselves have spoke to you about different sightings they've had of the same ghost. They haven't been able to decipher or dispel the spirit, despite both of their extensive experience. All they've gathered is something happened with Barkley that Silas is extremely angry about, and they can't find out what.
Okay. I have Pip Baylor written down on my sheet, though.
Oh, Pip Baylor is the historian, scholar type dude that is here trying to write new knowledge of ancient history along this island.
Okay.
Anything that he can pick up, he's trying to put down on a paper and kind of make a name for himself in the scholarly community.
So what I'd like to do
Uh-huh.
is get permission to bring Pip Baylor, Heather Ledoux, and perhaps 4 to 5 guards to protect them.
Okay.
And take them towards the center of the island where the ruins were, and let them geek out for a day.
Okay.
And then when they're done geeking out and investigating the ruins, we will see them off, but we're going to return to the cave. I guess Baylor will probably want to see the cave too, just so we can rummage through what's left of that campsite. So
all right, sounds good.
We'll get some guards to protect the NPCs on their way back, and we're going to just lead them out through the ruins, kind of let them see how it is, take them to the cave, let them see the rocks in there, and then when they're satisfied with their curiosity and have some samples for testing and whatnot, the guards can take them back to safety, hopefully, and then we can proceed into the cave. Unless they all want to stay with us.
Okay. You would.
Yeah,
seek out Ramona.
Yeah, I seek out Ramosa, tell her the plan, ask if she has any input or wants to veto it entirely, and then depending on that, we'll go from there.
Okay. Yeah, you would find her in the town hall, which is kind of built onto the side of her residence. So it's kind of like an extensive building at this point, kind of serving as the city center, as you would. And she is in one of the planning chambers with some of her advisors. And what you notice as you're let in is scrolls laid out of what appears to be plans to expand the walls and of the fort and the construction of a harbor to see trade pick up between here, Freeport, and the mainland. She finishes her conversation with them and then dismisses them and speaks to you, which she would agree to sending 4 of the armed militiamen with you to kind of act as a security squad for Pip. And
I'll ask if there's any other scientists, naturalists, explorers who would like to join us on the expedition that she knows about.
I mean, she would she'd look at you curiously and, well, Carter House is a freebooter, is he not?
Carter House. All right. He escaped my. He escaped me at the moment. I'll inform him of our attempted expedition and give him the chance to accompany us as well. Then.
Yeah. You have a meeting with him at the Leaky Boob, where lunch is had, and he really wants nothing to do with that. He is way more interested in the expansion. The expansion of the town, and the establishment of a guild hall for the league, and dipping their fingers within the trade routes here.
Okay.
So he flatly refuses to risk any kind of dangerous mission.
All right. What is his position?
He doesn't currently have a position. He's kind of a Weasley guy. You always find him just on the outskirts of anything that Ramona is doing. He is trying to interject freebooter business into the goings-on of Saray's bounty.
Okay.
So he's more of a diplomat than anything.
Okay.
He's a thin, gaunt little guy with a thin mustache and far too greasy hair pulled back into a slight ponytail with a noble's ribbon tied around it. He's dressed very fashionably and has a habit of talking down to almost everyone that is not in a position of leadership, including yourselves.
Not in leadership, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'll suffer his presence for a moment then. And because he doesn't have any authority then.
No, not really.
Yeah. And then I'll inform Mr. Baylor and Mistress Ledoux that we're going on a little expedition.
Ledoux absolutely agrees to it. She cannot wait to get out and see some of this herself. Mm-hmm. And Pip, who is, if he's a halfling.
I figured it would be short.
Yeah, Pip is a halfling. Sorry, I had to look at my notes. And he agrees only because Miss Ledoux has agreed.
Huh?
He seems to have a fondness for her. She, by the way, is a half-elf, if I haven't made that clear.
All right.
She's fairly pretty by any of the local standards. And he is quite a young guy, a young halfling, and a bit enamored with her.
All right. So after that, Haru is going to go pick out 4 guards that he knows are capable and alert, and request that they join.
Easily found. What would their names be?
Their names would be Jack, Jakk, Marcus, yeah, we'll say Garen, and
Will.
You want one to be Wilhelm? Sure, well, I want to be Wilhelm.
One will be Wilhelm.
Jack is half elf. Garen is a half orc. Wilhelm is a human. And Mark as well.
Marcus and Wilhelm are humans.
Yep.
Jack is a half elf, and Garen is a half orc.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Supplies are gathered. Packs are put together. Your expedition heads out of the colony without much affair. Beacon, give me a perception check.
All right. 15.
Okay, yeah, you look as you're heading towards the center of the island. You look over to your right in the fields and some of the townhouses that have been built. There are a number of folk just kind of standing behind a line of crops. You can see their faces just staring out at you guys. You just kind of notice this as you leave the security of the colony and into the forest.
I'll wave, even though I know they probably won't wave back, but that's to be expected.
They do not wave back.
I gotta at least try.
And with this, now it's been a
few weeks.
Yeah, a few weeks at this point. Between preparing Ashcroft's bones to be returned and the funeral itself, and then all the shenanigans, it's probably been upwards of a month and a half since you guys made your way here. So we're going to proceed with a bit of a skill challenge to try to find your way back to where you were.
We are going towards the center of the island.
Yes.
All right.
But the island is fairly large and the forest is thick.
All right.
And the trees are moving. I mean,
we'll see which die I want to take. All right.
All right. I'm gonna need 4 successes, and or 3 failures to see what's going to happen here. So I guess roll kind of an initiative to see who will roll first and how we'll proceed from there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And put your results in chat, please. This chat.
Yep. Initiative is 46.
Okay. Okay. So we'll go Haru, Laura, Galvin, and then Beacon.
All right.
Before we get started, I want to take a quick 3 to 5 minute break, bio break. If anybody needs
notes, got it.
Anybody needs a drink or whatever. 3 to 5. We'll be right back.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
That's not the one you were looking for. You're looking for the song.
Song? No, I was looking for the scene. This boy does.
Oi, oi, oi. You're trying to make everyone upset.
No, him. Just him.
Yeah.
Arm. But yeah, I should look up this song as well. You're gonna look it up?
All right, sorry about that, guys.
All right by me.
Welcome back.
Just trying to disturb Jason with his Maiden Abyss.
I don't know if you saw that one. It's like, how to put it? If you took the cutest anime characters you could find, and you put them in an eldritch horror world.
Oh God.
That's it.
Oh, I see now. Oh my God.
It starts off and it's bright colors and it's so like lighthearted and the characters are really upbeat. And then they go down into the abyss, the pit of despair, as it were, where all these mutant creatures are, and like the curse that pervades the whole area. And things just go awful after the first week or so down there.
Oh, this is disturbing.
Yes.
I will watch this. Pause.
Apologies in advance.
Oh no, I'm into creepy, weird shit. It'll be all right. Thank you. That was nowhere on my radar, and now it is. Thank you. Nick, are you back?
I never left, but I'm here.
All right, cool. Just making sure. Leah, you good to go?
Yep.
Okay, and with that, Haru,
I'm
I kick this off.
Let's see if I get us pointed in the right direction. Which way is the center of the island? What I'm going to do is climb a tree, look around, and use that to reference where we're supposed to be going.
Okay, so what skill would you be utilizing?
Should we say athletics to get to the top of the tree, or perception to look around?
Athletics will probably be the more pertinent one. So,
climbing a tree.
Climbing a tree.
And that will be a total of 10.
A total of 10.
Yes, this guy likes me.
Which is a failure. So, failure number 1. You climb most of the way up this tree, and kind of misjudge how one of the branches would support your weight, and it breaks, and down you go.
Okay. Can I recover at all on my way down, or is it just going to be a splat?
Yeah, the only failure on that is going to be you fall down. You're
get roughed up, but
training will save you from any kind of damage or serious repercussions. You just a little miffed, and maybe slightly taken down a peg in front of your friends.
It worked before.
I try not to laugh too hard.
So did he? What just happened? Can you describe? Okay.
Haru starts climbing up a tree, going from branch to branch, and he gets up maybe 15 feet before his 300 pounds of weight on one of the branches is just too much all of a sudden, and it cracks under his weight, plummeting to the ground. He sticks the landing, even though he hits one branch on the way down, and is a bit ruffled, but okay overall.
Laurelyn's gonna tap the tree, feeling sorry for its broken limb.
All right, that leads us to Laura.
What am I doing?
You need to choose a skill that you are going to use to try to navigate through this forest to hopefully find your way back to where you were.
Okay. Can I use survival?
Yes. We'll use survival in an attempt to recognize some of the landscape of where you are and try to point yourself in the right direction.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see. 15.
Okay, yeah, that's a success. You you're pretty sure that while you're heading towards the center mountain, what direction of the path you need to take to lead back to this ruinous area that you had previously located. So 1 success. Down to Galvin.
Okay.
What you doing?
Out of character, I'm going to use sleight of hand. No. Wouldn't work very well anyway. I'm going to use. I guess I'll just use perception.
Okay.
17.
Okay, so Galvin is walking along with Laura and using her knowledge of the lay of the land and your sharp wit, you're able to recognize some of the landmarks that you had previously passed. So you confirm her suspicion that you guys are heading in the right direction. That's a second success. Beacon.
I am going to say a prayer momentarily to ask for guidance, because I'm casting the guidance cantrip. And then I will use investigation to try to make sure we're still on the right path.
Okay.
Go. Roll a d4.
And I got a 9, but I'm going to use my inspiration.
All right. Reroll that, sir.
23.
All right. So yeah, you were using your investigative skills to see if you can recognize some of the marks of your passing the last time you were here. Even though it's been a few weeks, you notice here and there little broken plants from your passing or footprints here and there that you recognize as yourselves, along with several smaller paw prints that you would recognize as some of the monkey goblins that had been harassing you and the colony since you arrived. That's a third success. And we are back up to Harut.
So, third success. We've made it to the...
Not yet. We need 2.
All right. 2 more. All right.
One more success or 2 more failures.
Okay. 1 more success.
I am going to attempt to use stealth to avoid. I'll say, looking ahead, I see some huts off to one side. I'm going to try to use stealth to lead us around them.
Okay, yeah. You
back to the path.
You, as you're closing into some of the cliff faces, come through part of the underbrush and see one of the smaller little nests of these monkey goblins, and you can hear them chittering around up there and making little noises as they're going about their business. Haru takes point and leads you through as he tries to stealth you through this.
All right, so that will be a total of 17.
Successfully, he puts you against the cliff face, out of view, and you quietly sneak through, and with no notice from the animals themselves. And that will bring us through a riverbed that you all recognize as leading you to the ruins before. So you You find this riverbed and follow it, and within an hour, you find yourselves on the very edges of this ruin, where Pip immediately just loses his shit at the excitement and starts trying to chip off some of the stone from the building work and collecting soil samples and just going about all kinds of investigative routines.
I will help him.
Okay.
So,
Galvin will assist. I will turn to Marcus and Garen and tell them that we got to. Well, I'll get the guards and say we want to keep an eye out and set up a little bit of a perimeter here. So stay sharp. We've encountered a pretty beastly creature in the last time we were in this area, and we killed one and drove another off, but there could be more of them. So,
well, Marcus and Garen have large shields and long swords, and Jack and Wilhelm are armed with heavy crossbows and kind of are standing behind the two shield-bearing soldiers, and they've kind of got their eye on a swivel. And there's not a whole lot going on. The sounds of the jungle or the forest are echoing all around you. The birds and some of the smaller critters in the underbrush are going about their daily business. The sun is shining through the canopy, lighting up this place better than the last time you were here.
We only had a few hours of daylight last time.
And Pip picks up a flute and turns to the party, asking if this belongs to any of y'all.
Yes.
Potentially to Lyle.
He uses flutes, correct?
Yes. Looking at it, you immediately recognize this as the flute that he was playing as he was attacked by one of the larger goblinoids.
I guess we should take that back with us.
Yep.
He'll probably be glad to see it.
I'll put it in my bag.
Okay. And more than half a day passes as both Pip and Heather are going through this place with scholarly precision. She's gathering different samples of plants, and she's picked up, stool samples from some of the creatures that she's found around the area. Both of them are super intrigued at the construction and the material of whatever these structures were. Then you make your way to the dais from before, and as they approach, again the illusion triggers, and the masked figure with his hands out, speaking in a tongue still neither one of you understand, or any of you understand, although something is ringing familiar within yourself, Galvin.
Here, what?
Something is ringing familiar.
With the illusion that's speaking with his hands out.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, the tongue, the language that he's speaking rings familiar from some of your fever dreams.
Yeah, I'm going to mention that. It's the same language I heard when I was under.
And Pip would look at you and say, "Do you recognize any of the inflections or sayings or anything? Does anything pick up from your memory?
I'll roll just a straight intelligence.
Okay.
Or with my modifier.
Yeah, you always add your modifier.
Always.
Okay. That's going to be a 2.
It's gonna be a what? I'm sorry.
That's an 11 for him.
11. Okay. Yeah. You don't recognize anything of it.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah. It's ringing in your core that whatever you saw in your dreams, see something. Your intuition is telling you that they were among the same people as this guy. Whatever tongue he's speaking, they were a part of the same people.
Does he look the same, like purple eyes?
But you can't see his eyes because of the mask covering everything to his upper lip. All you see is his jawline and his mouth as he's speaking.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't quite catch everything. It just sounds familiar.
And Pip furiously starts writing notes into a small journal that he has. Fascinating. I would very much like to continue investigating what this could possibly be. This could be it. And falls into a lower tone as he forgets you guys are there and starts talking to himself as he writes.
Over to Halfling.
Heather chuckles, but starts to wander away up the path you would recognize as the path that the
expedition went to before.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The cave.
I'm going to make sure she stays within my eyesight.
Okay. She's just haphazardly like looking around, soaking in the sights, making notes to herself in her own head. And she's starting up the stairway to where the last encounter was. The security detail kind of make their way to her as she wonders to keep her within range if anything were to happen. Pip seems to be absolutely oblivious that you all are moving away, and he is completely fascinated with this illusion.
All right. I'm going to tell Heather that we're going to have to not spread out too far for safety's sake.
And she would kind of wave her hand, kind of lackadaisically, not even looking at you over her shoulder. And say, of course. And continuing up the pathway, the four are kind of like looking at you guys like, hey, what? How do you want to handle this?
I'm going to say, Jack, Marcus, Garen, Wilhelm, you keep an eye on Pip. Beacon, Galvin, Laurelyn, and myself know where Heather is headed. If anything starts rustling through the underbrush, you give a shout.
Aye.
All right. And then I'm going to follow Heather up to the cave.
Right.
Okay.
I'll leave Pip and go up there, I guess.
Yeah. I'm kind of.
Do you want to let her continue to wander, or do you want to like lead her to the camp? Or
I'm going to go up, tap her on the shoulder, and then march with purpose in the direction towards the cave and the camp that
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. She would recognize that you're trying to show her something, so she would follow you. You would come up on the embankment and point down to where the mouth of the cave was, and you would see the rotting carcasses, the carcass of the one ape goblin that was killed. A lot of its meat is completely gone, devoured by scavengers, and the smell is freaking horrendous.
Prestidigitation.
There's only so much a cantrip can do.
If you're serious, it would kind of mask some of the smell. You could get like a little whiff of it upon breathing through your mouth. But the truly disgusting nature of it is kind of masked a little bit for you guys. And Heather doesn't seem to mind at all. She is down there and she is sketching the bone structure and the fallen creature to hopefully make notes.
Yeah, I'm going to describe to her what its exterior looked like. Skin and fur patterns.
Looks like a gorilla with a
a gorillion with a goblin head. But yeah, I'm going to describe it to her.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's raptured with attention towards you as you describe this, and she sketches out a little bit and she shows you like this, and you spend the next half hour or so trying to verbally describe or verbally allow her to paint this picture of what the creature did look like.
And I'll use minor illusion to make a copy of what I remember.
Okay, yeah, what you remember is this thing leaping at you. So that's the illusion that occurs, is this thing would leap out of the tree, landing in front of you.
Kind of leaping out, forearms out.
Yeah. And Heather kind of gasps for air and falls on her ass.
Well, it's only going to be 5 foot square, and it's a still picture. But yeah, sure.
Yeah, for this, I'm gonna allow it to be like a moving illusion.
That's what it looked like, except bigger.
And as the illusion fades, she kind of indignantly picks herself up, dusts off her butt, kind of shoots a poisoned look at Galvin.
I know. It's poison.
There she'll notice the destroyed camp. The remainder of the bodies that were there are gone. And anything that would have been intelligible as far as like writing or paper or anything it's just with rain and whatnot is just rotted completely away.
Everything we could first time.
Mm-hmm. And there along the wall of the cliff face is the little cave entrance. Laura, you're here kind of just looking around. Give me a perception check.
Okay. $12.
You look up and think you see something above the tree line, up the cliff, like looking up towards the mountain. You don't know what it is, though. There was something there that doesn't quite look right.
Like a figure, or
no,
just
no, not like a creature or anything. It's like part of the cliff itself, part of the mountain itself.
Just doesn't go.
Yeah, it's just the way it's laying or the way it looks from this angle doesn't look right.
Okay. I'd like to point. Can I point that out to my group?
Yeah, absolutely. The rest of you look up and you don't particularly see what she's seeing. So Haru, you would look at her and kind of say, "Are you all right?"
Well, you think she sees something that might be worth investigating in the future. But
So
I don't see it. So
is this like really noticeable to me? Like, is it gonna like bother me?
Oh, it's gonna bug you.
I'm going to stress that there's something off about what's up there. It does not look right. Trust me on this.
Oh,
make a persuasion check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Persuasion
how
check.
far away is this area that you're pointing at?
It's above the tree line, so it's at least 30 feet up.
Okay.
I got a 19.
I'm going to use dancing lights and put them up in that area.
I rolled a 19.
I rolled an 18. I'm kind of skeptical, but you're not known to flights of fancy.
So the dancing lights go up, and you kind of see the lightning effect in the ore that you found in the cave. There seems to be some kind of structure just over the cliff face, but it would require a climb or a hike for who knows how long to get around and slowly climb up.
We need a climbing kit to get up there safely.
Yes, or a really good athletics check.
How high is it?
We'll say about 45 feet.
45 feet?
Mm-hmm.
We got rope.
Man, if I was level 9, I'd just run up the cliff face. I'm level 9. Level 3.
Back.
Okay, well, I could start building a earthen ramp.
45 feet. Haru is going to take some time. Could I take 15?
Yes.
Just spend some time studying the cliff face, look for a place with sufficient handholds, and then
Absolutely.
give it a few test climbs. Make sure I've got my rope ready, and just climb up that.
Hey, could I use like mold earth?
Mold earth doesn't work on rock.
It uses dirt or stone. It has to be loose earth.
Loose earth, yeah.
I could make handholds.
Yeah, he could.
And
yeah,
with
that.
I have spell sniper, so I have I have double spell range.
That kind of expands the rock a little bit, or clears out some of the dirt and the grime, allowing you to find some handholds a little easier. So yeah, you could take 15, and a few minutes of climbing, you get up to the top, where you would see just beyond the lip of the cliff face itself stands a statue half buried. The statue is of a woman. I'm sorry?
Statue of Liberty?
They blew it all up.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. No, it's, this woman has flowing robes. And going across her chest shows the different phases of the moon centered around a full moon just below her neck. And she has kind of a crown of stars on her brow, and her hair is covered with a type of cloth. But the statue is buried a little less than waist deep in the stone and dirt.
That's just on the edge of the lip?
Yeah, just over, and just behind her, it seems to be the top of a tower-like structure.
Okay.
That seems to have been pushed down the hill. It's at an odd angle and doesn't appear to be exactly in its original location.
I'm going to look for a decent place to fix a rope. If I have to do the statue, I will, but I'm going to look for some other rock that's part of the cliff and very sturdy.
Okay, yeah, you find that fairly easily, and
tie off the rope to it securely, and then chuck the end over the cliff. The other end over the cliff so that it'll dangle down.
Dangle. Okay.
That's the group. And then from there, I'm going to be on lookout and listening.
And just for kind of. Sorry. There we go. That's what I'm trying to show.
Yeah. There was an infinite number of. Yes.
Ah. You didn't miss anything. I'm trying to show something and it's not really letting me.
Oh, what did you show instead?
It was the stream. You showed the stream, and it because it's the stream showing the stream. It's just like infinite. Yeah.
You just heard it infinite again.
Yep. All right.
Wait, is that what we just found?
This is the area that. This is what it looks like around you.
Beautiful place.
Oh, so pretty, so green.
Such a lovely place.
And okay, so you secure the rock and or secure the rope. Sorry, derp.
The rock is secure, hopefully.
The rock is secure. Yes. Secure the rope around the rock, and I'm guessing you're throwing one end down the cliff face for them to join you up here.
They can climb up if they want.
Okay. So you guys hear Haru call down, and the rope come flailing down. Beacon, give me a dexterity save.
All right, and I don't know if you saw my message, but my sickness is getting to me.
Oh.
So I was actually thinking maybe Beacon can stay with the expedition group.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I'm sorry, I didn't see the chat first.
Yeah.
You'll probably do that after you hit in the head by my rope.
Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm feeling a bit rough, so I'm gonna have to call it early.
Yeah, that's fine, man. I totally understand. I hope you feel better soon.
Thank you. Good luck, everyone, and don't die on me.
Thanks for coming.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put you with the rest of the NPCs. You'll be totally safe, honest.
I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
They're all wearing red shirts.
Thank you for the names. Hopefully that helps.
All right. Night, all.
Good night, Nate. Okay.
I'll roll for him. Dexterity save, he's got a +0, doesn't he? I got a 19.
He sees the rope at the last minute and steps aside as the coil just thump right onto the ground beside him.
Wow. That's,
His eyes glaze over.
It's 50 feet of rope, 45-foot tall cliff. It's probably just dangling right at the edge.
Yeah, a little bit, like 5 feet's worth of rope. Well, plus what you tied. So yeah, you're probably right. It's a little bit on the ground. So Galvin and Laura are climbing up to join you up there, And within a few moments, you all peek over the cliff face, and there stands the statue and the remnants of a tower-like structure.
I'm going to use investigation on this thing.
Okay.
I have good investigation, so I just hope it. Nice. 18 plus 5, that's going to be 23.
Absolutely. What are you trying to find?
Well, as a stonemason, I'm extremely interested in carved statues. So I'm basically going to see what it's made out of, how it was built.
Try to reverse engineer the techniques they used behind shaping it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be very similar to the structures you've seen down below.
Right.
Same type of material, same type of masonry. It seems. Give me an Arcana check, also.
Okay. 10
Total?
10 total.
Okay.
In total. Okay, yeah, you don't notice anything magical about it, but you're certain that this is a lot like the buildings or the remnants of buildings down below.
I'm going to spend some time to ritually cast Detect Magic.
Okay. As he's casting this ritual, Haru and Laura, what would you like to be doing?
Just kind of looking around, see if anything sticks out to me, seems off.
Okay.
Haru's going to sidle up to Laura and say, looks like you were right again.
Laura will smile. And she just doesn't say anything. She just continues looking around.
Okay, you kind of you see that the tower top looks out of place. So you climb the hill a little bit, and this is not as sheer. It's you would have to fall to all fours as you pull yourself up. But it's not that far of a climb. As you reach the top, you see where something else was excavated out from here. Someone else has dug through the stone, chipped away the stone, and pulled away the dirt, and an entrance going underground is in plain sight from here.
Does Haru see that too, or is it just me?
If he climbed up there with you, then yes.
Sure. Haru's just trying to keep an eye on everyone, since he feels like he's the only member of the security detail.
Okay.
And
Laurelin.
Beacon is keeping an eye on Miss Ledoux down below.
Laurelin's gonna slightly freeze at looking at the entrance. You said it's like a cave entrance?
Yeah, it's like if there was a giant like rock flow coming off the side of the mountain. It looks like someone chipped away and broke the stone and pulled away the dirt and dug into the side of the mountain here. It's large enough that Haru can fit in comfortably.
I'm going to let Haru know about what I see.
He's right there with you.
Oh, okay. I thought he was looking around, watching over people.
He's kind of got his eye on Galvin as Galvin is casting a ritual, which should be wrapping up right about now. Galvin, as this completes, you see it becomes so clear in your mind. The skill with the arcane that it took mold not only the brick itself, but how it was held together, which isn't really with a mortar that you're familiar with. It's something else entirely. And Magic's absolutely had almost everything to do with the construction of this.
Okay, I'm going to scribble furiously in my notebook.
And you're almost certain this is a refined form of what you were starting to call galvanium.
Okay. I'm going to call down to, it's Heather, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let her know what I found. A refined form of galvanium.
And as you look down, you notice that she has walked into the cave, and Beacon looks up at you and kind of shrugs and follows her in. So they went into the cave where you found the large veins of it, where everything was this raw galvanium.
We're splitting the party too much. As interesting as it is up here, we should probably rejoin the others.
Go down the rope. Only notes away for now.
Okay. Laura, are you down with this?
Yes.
We should go down.
Yeah. She kind of just breathes in and
We'll leave the rope up here.
nods.
Trying to figure out where the senses part is on this beyond character sheet, like where it would show if you had dark vision or whatnot.
That'd be racial. So Laura has it. I don't. Sam doesn't. Galvin doesn't.
All right, Laura.
And Heather would, because she's a half elf.
Yes. Laura, you would look into this hole in the ground that you found and notice that not only has it been dug out, but there are like crude steps cut into the stone leading into the darkness. It goes down into the mountain quite a ways before it turns off to the left and out of your vision.
I'll relay that to them, that I see
That's what we see up at the top of the cliff.
steps.
Yeah, this isn't a natural cliff or a natural cave that she's found here, or at least not the entrance to.
Investigating. Right now, I don't want to get our hands into too many beehives.
Okay.
So we've got to go downstairs. We have to go down the cliff, like one after another. I'll leave the rope at the top so we can turn easier. And
Okay.
We're going into the cave
We should
at the
probably
base of the cliff.
take the others and bring them closer to here.
You guys want to stay here?
Well, what I'm suggesting is that we get Pip and the guards, bring them closer to us. Otherwise, we'll be too far apart.
Have you ever tried to talk a halfling out of something that he's fascinated about?
A halfling archaeologist who's surrounded by ruins,
Yeah.
like Rain from Tales of Symphonia. You're not getting him away from him. That's why I left him 4 guards.
I guess.
Roll a persuasion, Haru.
Natural 3.
Natural 3.
So 5 total.
Galvin is a little skeptical at your logic of this, but it's split the party one way or split the party another. You can only really go to one or the other.
Well, Haru is going to the cave.
Okay.
Laurelyn's following Haru.
Haru is going into the cave after Beacon and Miss Ledoux.
Yep. And because I can't see anything, I'm going to pull out a torch.
I'm going to pull. Well, I still have dancing lights. So.
All right, you can do that. So you magically light up the area. Rouge kind of shrugs, put the torch away. Mages.
No, dancing light would have been gone long ago as it.
But it's a cantrip. Doesn't matter.
Oh, a minute.
It lasts a minute, but it's a cantrip. You can cast it as many times as you want.
Yeah, for sure. It's just the original one, unless he kept it going while he was casting his ritual, would have dissipated by now.
Or if you wanted to be weird about it, you could cast light
on your torch.
On a torch, yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's totally a torch, guys. Shedding light.
I'm just gonna do it on my staff. There's a tough
Okay.
staff.
Okay, Gandalf. You enter the cave. It doesn't take long for you to find the chamber where those slick-skinned creatures were that had climbed the wall and almost tore Lyle apart. Mm-hmm. You hear Heather talking to Beacon and see a bunch of flashing lights around one of the corners where you had found the larger chamber and discovered the galvanium. If you make your way there, she is excitedly talking Beacon's ear off about what this could mean and blah, 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 blah. Beacon is shaking his head, trying to amuse her and act very interested in everything that she's talking about.
I'm going to approach her and basically share my notes of what I found, like the refined galvanium, and what they've been able to do with it, and how awesome it is.
And the rest of you would notice how many times Galvin has repeated the term galvanium, very to her psyche as this is what this is. This is galvanium. Galvanium, galvanium, galvanium.
Yep.
Oh, and galvanium.
Obsessed much?
What Haru is going to do is go up there, place his hand on the rock, and tap it and see if he gets the flash of people screaming again.
You don't. It just
So
the
different.
luminescence would trickle out like a ripple in a pond, but it's bluish electricity looking energy as it flows through. You would notice though that it doesn't appear to be on the surface, the glow. It is on the inside of the rock, almost like it becomes translucent while this energy is flowing through it, but it's not. It's a very weird trick of your perception to see this. It's almost nauseating to kind of see if you look directly at it.
All right. While we're here, Haru's going to look around the chamber and see if there is anything he missed the first time. Just on a lark while the brains are talking.
Okay, yeah, you would start to walk around this chamber, and towards the end of it, you would see another kind of cavern tunnel cut off to the left, leading into a chamber that has more of these pillars of stone going floor to ceiling, very thick. Like this was. It's weird how how you find the rock and the layout of this cave. It's like it's appears natural, but it's almost like a purpose to the carving. But there's no water up here, so water couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you were to ask me, I would say, well, we found some way to mold it. But whatever.
It could have been intentionally shaped, either with spells or it could have been carved once and then like climates and stuff can change. So there could have been water stuff that made it look natural or more natural. Her is going to call attention to the side chamber that we hadn't seen before.
Okay.
Point my light towards that.
Galvin, Laura, how do you want to? What are you doing?
I'm going to point my light towards the side chamber.
Yeah, Laurelyn's gonna look where Haru is pointing.
Okay. The three of you enter this chamber, and it's kind of winding. The pillars kind of give a false sense of direction. Like it looks like the cavern is going one way, and you realize this is just a pillar that you're walking around. So finding your way through is going to take a combined investigation check.
Or
Through that, someone get me a rope.
Yep.
Yeah. Just get a rope, have one person walk forward and try to thread the needle, as it were.
Okay.
And if you start looping back around yourself, you just back up and try a different way.
All right, Laura, you're the only one with dark vision. Do you want to take the end of the rope and explore?
Yeah.
Haru wants to stay right behind her.
Laurelyn's gonna shifty eye look at Haru with the mildly annoyed by the suggestion, but she takes the rope kind of aggressively, and she will go forward.
You wind around for several minutes, and you find a broken pillar that's been shattered by something in the middle of it, and you feel a wind like being pushed through that, and you hear the sound of the wind ripping around the rock face. So it's like a low moan almost where this thing is.
I tell the wind to shut its mouth.
Haru, and you would hear her like curse in Sylvan. And the wind would silence itself. The air becomes very still.
I'm going to...
that just like gave me the heebie-jeebie.
Dancing lights, send those forward. Wait, hold on 1 second. It's not. I can use both of them. Just this is concentration.
What else do I see?
Around the side of this bigger pillar, you see a large chunk of the broken stone. Kind of, it's broken off in almost a triangular shape, and as it rests, it almost covers one of the caverns, but has left a hole big enough for you guys to crawl, and Haru would have to squeeze, but you could crawl through this space and find out what's on the other side.
Do I need to go through this as well by myself, or should I?
It's up to you entirely.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'm feeling adventurous.
I could.
Haru's gonna squeeze through after her.
Okay. You both would go through, and on this side you would hear the wind again. You would feel the wind and feel or smell in the air both a kind of a briny smell along the wind.
Like salt, like the ocean?
Yeah, like salt water that's been stagnant for a really long time.
Gross.
Well, I'm going to follow them and push these dancing lights forward.
Okay. Yeah, you come through, and the chamber is a little larger. Stalactites are hanging down. There's no real columns in here, so it's more of a. You feel like this is absolutely is a natural cavern. You can see where lime deposits have come down the sides of the cavern wall and given it a real ripple effect along the stone. And without much trouble, you would find your way to the other side of the cavern where a small tunnel leads around, and this is where the wind is coming from. It's a slight breeze coming through the beginning of this tunnel here.
Yeah. By the way, the tunnel that we kind of brute forced our way through, the winding passage, I wanted to leave the rope as a guide trail. We could just kind of...
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I pictured it. The rope being like a...
I just want to make it clear. So we're
Okay.
do that later. When someone screams, we have to run. Okay. So now we'll proceed through this tunnel.
Okay. As you come around, hi baby girl.
Hi.
You guys need to get ready for bed, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Richard, go get ready for bed.
Yes.
Go help him. As you come around the corner of this tunnel, it winds around several more times, and you start to see the glow of sunlight as you come through, and you would push your way. One second, let me pull up what I'm talking about to myself.
Do we make it to the top of the cliff through the carved staircase that we ignored before?
No. God, where did I put those?
So we're seeing sunlight, so this is like a possible, like, quicker way out, maybe? If we can't get to the other way?
No, you come through the tunnel, and as you come to the end of it, you see rubble of galvanium masonry has been knocked inwards, and you see a series of very finely crafted columns going in a half circle, and a giant stone foot attached to the calf that goes across the chamber out of your sight. But sunlight is bleeding in from the top. Several holes up there are allowing sunlight into this thing.
Okay.
So light's coming from above, and there's a massive hole ahead of us. Looks like Hidden by a giant stone statue, maybe?
Yes. If you enter in, you would see this chamber is at least 150 feet long. It goes a good distance, and on the lip of where you're standing, where these columns are is a drop that goes down. All this floor is finished tile, very finely crafted, or it was at one point. A lot of rubble lies around, like knee deep of clear water covers most of this chamber, and you see a fallen statue of a humanoid with kind of a workman's skirt around its waist, broken at its right knee and at its left ankle. And what used to be its torso is just rubble from what you can see, and kind of a remnants of the statue's head at the very end of this chamber.
I'm going to pick my way through and kind of keep my eyes open for anything that might be glimmering under the surface of the water or among the rubble.
Okay. You keeping an eye out, or are you making your way around like this half circle where the dry tile is, or are you making your way into the water?
I'm going to, before I jump into the water, I'm going to get down and smell it and like touch it to see if it's acidic at all.
Yeah, no, it's not acidic. It is ocean water though. It's salt water.
Hmm.
You still have the ring.
Yeah. I'll just wade through the water then.
Okay. It's pretty clear, so it doesn't take much to keep an eye out for anything moving in the water. It seems that it's only you moving through the water. There's nothing that catches your senses about anything that might prove dangerous. The chamber goes on to, there are, where the statue fell looks to be several collapsed pillars where the statue knocked them over, as well as a half destroyed chamber of sorts that the wall kind of came out as a square horseshoe. You're looking at the remnants of the wall where the torso fell, and past the wall are a line of broken pillars and two sets of stairs on either side of the chamber that go slightly down, even deeper than what you are now. Galvin, Laura, are you following him?
Yep.
Yes.
If you want, you could follow where you'll stay dry.
Yeah. I'm basically going to be studying the golem that had been destroyed.
It's more statue than golem.
Yeah. Well, it was still animate.
Was it?
Is there a way to follow without getting drenched?
Only at first. You come across, or you come to a set of a small staircase that leads down, and the water again is about waist deep on a human. So just below the waist on Haru, and just above the waist for you.
Looks like that. Hesitating about getting wet.
I don't like dark water.
Looking up, you can see the chamber gives way to rock and dirt and mud, and you can see like tree roots poking through and cutting across in large sections. You can see vines hanging down from the openings up at the top, and you can see, Laura, you can especially see the collapsed remnants of the ceiling of this chamber. This used to be a very tall chamber. The sunlight, you can gauge maybe the holes up there are maybe 200 feet above you. This is a very large area.
Oh, I wonder what made it collapse.
Oh, her is just going to proceed.
Yeah, Orland's just is gonna follow.
Bring them closer.
Oh, we're exploring it now. We're trying to find something interesting. Well, either something to fight so we can immediately end the session on a cliffhanger, or something that's worth like bringing back to camp.
There's a how far through the chamber have you gone?
I guess they've followed up to where they couldn't go any further without getting wet.
And then I jump into the water.
Okay. And Haru's just going down to the far end.
Okay. You would see, as you approach the end of the chamber, you can see where the head is of the statue is. It's just slightly under the surface of the water, and you also see a forearm and a hand of the statue kind of just below the surface of where you're at.
Was it going to be like 20 feet tall scale wise, or was it going to be like?
Oh no, this is a giant statue. It's at least 100 foot tall.
Okay.
This is a big statue.
But of a workman.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do an insight check on the statue.
I don't think that's the
I
right.
don't see how that would be relevant.
Investigation.
Okay. Investigation check you can absolutely do.
23.
Okay. Yeah, it is a crumbled marble, a pure marble that the quality you haven't seen anywhere but the finest of museums and universities, and some of the better architectural structures of the largest cities in the realms. Nothing besides that really stands out. This was just a very picturesque statue at one point, and something calamitous had happened, and it now lays broken in its former glory.
Okay, well, I'm going to collect some samples of this clear marble.
Okay.
Some deposits located on the island, huh?
Yep. That will be good for trade, if nothing else.
Yeah, for sure. Haru, as you wade over the arm, you kind of push your way over, and that's where the stair is. So as you come over, the water almost comes to your chest at this point. It's slightly deeper, but you are now on a cobblestone-like floor that leads over, and through the sunlight you can see another tunnel with a broken pillar fallen down into the tunnel itself.
Okay. Does the ceiling here look like it's relatively stable in its current?
Yes. Yeah. Whatever happened here seems to have happened a long time ago. And if this thing was going to collapse any further, it probably, it's a safe guess, it probably would have done it already.
Right. Well, since the water is suddenly getting deeper, Haru is going to offer to carry his two companions across one at a time.
I'm already.
Well, you're wet to the waist, but this is probably going to get up to your neck.
Laurelin promptly agrees to this idea.
I thought about doing it earlier, but I decided not to.
Laura has propped herself up on your right shoulder like a kitten.
Yep.
On all fours.
And I'll carry her over to the far side and deposit her on solid ground.
There doesn't seem to be any more solid ground through here.
Okay.
This water seems to be flowing in from this tunnel area.
Going in. So I'm going to go out through this tunnel area.
Okay. It leads on roughly 150, 160 feet. It winds slightly, but for the most part, it's straight. As you're walking through it, you can feel the cobblestone give away, and now your feet are sinking into soft dirt, sand. And you can feel some bioluminescent plant life that's down here. It starts to glow at your touch and kind of lights the water up a little bit. As you come around the last bend, you can see now it's the entrance to some kind of chamber, and there is a produced light in there. This isn't sunlight that you're seeing.
That's surprising. So we were getting out of the cave.
So this light isn't from the sun?
At the end of the tunnel, no.
It just appears to be. I'm going to look around. How big is the room this is then?
If you come to the end of the tunnel, the room itself is roughly 25 feet by 15 feet. It's a rough wall. You can see the water is kind of flowing down the right wall. It's not a powerful waterfall, but it is continuous. But it does allow you to step up on the later half of this chamber, kind of moves up, and you can set yourself onto dry land from there, where you find a very small little crevice that goes into where this unnatural light is coming from.
All right. I'm going to set Laurelin there and then go back quickly for Galvin.
Okay.
And bring him back.
Laura, you're standing by this crevice as your companion wades back through the water. You can hear him sloshing as he walks away.
Kind of look into the crevice?
Yeah. You peek in. You can't really see anything from the entrance, but maybe if you push your way into it, you could get a look at what's on the other side.
Okay. Can I do that?
Yes. And you come through what appears to be a wall. Someone busted through this wall where there is a more refined galvanium walls and tiled floors.
Tiled floors?
Yeah, it's a tile floor. There's a broken statue in the corner to your immediate left. And
what is it a statue of?
It looks to be another humanoid type statue. You only see the feet at the ankles standing there. The statue feet are humanoid legs with like sandals on. And there are two passageways, one to like forward and to the left of the chamber, and another one immediately to your right. And the glow seems to be coming from the wall itself. Like the room is just self-lit from this refined, what you're recognizing as galvanium.
Huh. Out of curiosity, this stuff that's like the walls are made out of, would I have seen this kind of stuff before in my Laurelland's history? Okay.
No, this is the first time you've seen anything like this.
Okay.
Well, we've seen it on the island before, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen it here, but anywhere before coming to this island, you've never seen anything like this.
Huh. So, both entrances that I'm seeing, they're both dark, or
No, they're both lit up. It's not a very bright light, but it's enough that anyone could see within a reasonable distance.
is there anything else of great interest in this room that I'm in, or aside from the statue?
No, just the crumble statue and these two passageways.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna sit there and wait for Haru to come.
Which doesn't take too long, as you hear him through the crevice sloshing back up, and you hear that he calls your name, not seeing you where he left you.
Laurelland?
I'm in here. I just kind of shout out.
Okay. Who's going to approach?
Close behind.
Oh, you're being carried. So you're relatively dry.
Laurelland's gonna apologize to her for kind of sneaking off. I'm sorry, I was just a little curious.
It's fine. I'm not your father.
No, but you are my friend. And I should, think before I act.
So Haru will just grunt at that and then say, he'll investigate the crevice, kind of look through, see the different passages we could take, and just kind of shrug and be ready to follow whichever left or right Laurelland takes.
Okay. Laura, it looks like you're taking point.
I'm going to keep researching this new discovery.
I want to go. You said there's one straight across that goes left. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Like if you're standing in think of this chamber as a rectangle that you're standing in. The crevice is in the bottom right corner. The first passageway is on the top left corner of that, and the second one is at kind of the middle right wall of the rectangle.
Yeah, I want to go through the first one.
Across the room?
Yes.
Okay. As you make your way across the chamber, you kind of just glance over your shoulder at the second passageway, and it leads down probably about 10 feet, and you see the top of a stair as it goes down into another chamber. The one you're standing in front of goes approximately 15 feet to ahead of you, and then sharply cuts to the left.
Yeah, I want to go in there.
Okay, you make your way around the corner, and you see a small door. You think it's a door. It looks like it should be a door, but you don't see any way to operate it. or open it, and it's directly across from another set of stairs. And from end to end, this hallway that you're standing in goes about 40 feet directly in front of you, then cuts again to the left.
What's the name for friend in Elvish? No, I'm just kidding. So it's a
elf.
Huh?
You're the elf here.
I know. I was just making a. Never mind. So it's a door that it looks like a door, but not.
I mean, you're pretty sure it's a door, but you don't see any way to operate it. Like, there's no handle, there's no anything.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, you can touch it.
Any
Feels like cold, damp stone.
Is this light in the room close enough for me to touch it?
The light?
The lights from the walls.
Yeah, the light itself is like emanating from the walls themselves. It's like the chambers emit their own light.
Okay. I thought that you said there was an object in the room that was emitting light other than the room itself.
Yeah, it's the room itself.
Okay.
Well, it's the surface of the wall itself, like going all through here is pretty well lit up. And behind you, you hear two voices bickering in some language. Galvin, you would recognize this as the same language from your fever dream and the illusion outside.
Everyone else hear this?
Yeah, yes, all three of you would hear this.
And this is behind the supposed door?
Oh, this is behind you and down the stairs.
Oh, like someone's coming.
We don't know. You just hear the voices.
Haru starts for a moment, looks in the direction, and then is going to proceed down the stairs. Say it's probably another illusion.
Okay. We'll go slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And I will prepare something just in case.
I'm going to proceed down the stairs and look for traps.
Okay, you don't notice anything that would give away any kind of a sense of a trap being laid. What you do find is as you come down the stairs is a large circular chamber, approximately 60 feet in circumference, or diameter, I should say. And in the center of it, arguing over a laid out book, are two picturesque, like perfectly proportioned humanoid automatons. Is all you can. It's unlike any golem that you've ever seen. They seem to be made of a stone-like substance, but it's like they are free-moving and talking statues that are arguing amongst themselves. One is tapping down on the book, like holding his other hand up to the sky, and the other one it's shaking its head. They're both female, and
of course they're arguing
in an argumentative voice, pointing across the chamber over the shoulder of the other one. On either side of the chamber, and like a cross pattern, is stairs that go up from where you are currently at the bottom of the circle, and on the left or the right are two sets of stairs each that go down, and directly ahead are another set of stairs that go down.
There's stairs going down. They might loop back into the same room. Were those the only passages out of here? Or did I miss one?
Yes. The stairs behind you and the stairs on the other sides of the room that you would most assuredly gain the attention of these two beings.
Clay women?
Do they sound familiar? Does anything they're saying sound familiar at all?
No. You recognize the way it sounds as this language that you've been hearing spread throughout, but you can't make out anything.
All right. I'm going to listen to it for about 5 minutes. I'm going to just stand there and listen to it. If you wanted to like ritually cast detect magic, you could. And I'm just going to be paying attention for if they are repeating the same lines to each other, like through an endless loop.
Oh, and they're not. And within 45 seconds to a minute, the argumentative one points towards the stair where you are and turns her head. And at that point, she notices all four of you. And you can see her face, her eyes rise in shock, and says some imperceivable 3-syllable word. At that point, the other one stops pointing at the book and looks over and asks something. The inflection is absolutely in question form.
What was that name?
I'm going to repeat that 3-syllable word, like I'm sounding out like what they said. Give them a shrug, speak in common, say I do not understand you, and then switch to Draconic and say I do not understand you.
What was that word that
Avakna.
Avakna.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say Avakna, they both dart their vision right at you and start demanding something. Their tone becomes much harsher as they turn towards you and start to walk your way. As they're speaking, you can start to hear syllables of the common that you just spoke to them. And it's almost as if they are self-teaching your language. And by the time they reach you, they're about 10 feet in front of the four of you now. And the one on the right says in perfect common, in the accent of Haru, "How do you know this name?" And that is where we'll end for tonight.
We might get some answers finally. Soon. Well, first we have to answer their questions. All right.
Mm-hmm.
They are operating very quickly in learning languages.
They're clay babes. We can mold them.
They are clay babes, dressed in the same kind of robes as the statue that you saw up there, minus the moons. As same style of clothing that also seems to be made of stone, but flows with their movements like it's cloth. It's a very strange thing that you're seeing.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll pick up more of this in our next session. And
sometime next month.
Yeah, sorry, the next few weeks. Yeah, hopefully we'll get some answers. And with that, if anybody is here watching or watching in the future, I very much appreciate your views. I'm Jason Smith with Smith Forged Gaming, and I'm signing out. Thank you.
Have a good night.